Hi, so I am Kasturi Kaushik from Cantilever Labs. Today I am your host and I'm your host. All right. Okay, so you might have seen us promoting this event on Instagram and Telegram and all other social media. So the star of this show today is Drishti Mamtani. She's one of the top developer at Google. So we welcome her to the event today and thank you for giving us your time, Drishti. It is so great to have you. She also did a event yesterday, which I think few people might not have been able to attend. But however, we have recorded the whole event and we would be uploading it soon on our YouTube channels and other social media. So don't forget to check it out. Okay, so we are waiting for a few other people to join. Okay, Drishti, then we'll get started. So today's program is about resume analysis, and there is some more surprises for you guys also. So stay tuned. And before that, I would like you to introduce us, that is Cantilever Labs. So basically, we are a early age startup. Okay, so we are trying to help students get their dream job. Okay, so what happens is you all are skilled, so we are just trying to get you more skilled. We are trying to help you get your dream job, helping you prepare yourself more better, from coding to mock interviews to aptitudes to reasoning. We have everything at Cantilever Labs. So don't worry, we got your back so that you get your dream job, which will actually make us really, really proud of you guys. And also we will show you how Cantilever Labs is going to do that for you. We also have some coming surprises. So stay tuned, okay, guys? So are you guys excited for the resume analysis? I can see 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And what about the others, guys? Okay, oh, perfect, perfect. Of course, yes. Okay, this sounds exciting. This actually motivates us to do more. We have surprise for you, so don't just leave. We will show you how Cantilever Labs is going to help you. Till then, we are just waiting for others to join in. We can see 20 attendees here. So meanwhile, I'll just have a Q&A with Drishti because I want to know more about her. But as if someone might have not attended yesterday's event, I would like to just tell her more about her. She likes to watch cricket, but she plays badminton, and she has also interned at Oracle and even Amazon. So she is multi-talented. So we are actually very glad to have you here, Drishti.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this sweet info and introduction. So, good evening, everyone. So, really excited to be a part here and to share my knowledge on resume and to even address all the questions that you will be having. So, keep commenting your questions, and I'll take them as soon as possible.
Okay. So yes, I have first, it should actually be my turn first to ask you some question. So, okay, so today's event is all about resume building, right? So there's a hype about resume in colleges. So if you go back to your college days, when did you actually start making resumes? And when was the time that you think that, okay, I should start making my resume this time? And what is like, did you do edits? Because I remember having so many edits on my resume. Looking at seniors' resume, the ones who got placed, like asking professors, like, should I make this, what are the words that I should use? How should I actually describe myself? Resume, okay, resume is not so important, but also important, right? So yeah. What is your view on that?
So I started off making my resume. So in our college, we have an internship after second year. That's a compulsory internship, and we do it at a place so that we could just get some exposure. So I made the resume first then, and at that point, my resume was completely blank. There were some courses that I did. There were probably a project that I did in my course only, and I just added C++, C. So you could say that it was just a half page. There was nothing that I could put in my resume because it was second year. So that was the time when, obviously, when seniors saw my resume, they also told me that it does not have anything. You have not done any projects till now. You've not figured out where your interests are and what you need to do. You even not started coding. So these were the feedbacks that I got from my seniors. So Fine, that went. I completed my internship. That was just 2 month internship. And then when the companies for summer internships come in different colleges, it might come in many colleges. So as they came in my college also, I am from Bitspilani, Hyderabad campus. So the company started coming, and then at that point when a company came, there were around 500 to 600 people applying for that company. Now, the company generally says that if you have a CGPA of 7 or let's say 7.5, you go ahead and you can apply, and you will be able to give the online test. But because there were so many applicants and it was very difficult for the company, they did not expect so many applicants because it was open to a lot of branches. So they started resume shortlisting. Now, since they started resume shortlisting, it was that you have to prepare a good resume, then only you will be shortlisted even for the online test. So that's why the resume became really important. And then I started working on my resume. I tried to see the job description that the company gave and tried to modify my resume based on that. Added all the important keywords there, added the projects and internships, which are very significant, and also a small part in extracurricular, and tried to fit it in one page. Till then, I had a few things that I could write in my resume, and from that half page, it became that one page. So things went well there, and my resume was decent enough. But yes, whenever a new company came in, I tried to modify my resume because we had that liberty to change our resume and then apply to a company. Some of when I took mock interviews of some of the people, they told me that they don't have that liberty. So they are just told to first give one resume, and that would be given to all the companies. So I don't know, it depends on the college. For me, I got the liberty. So, and it was not only me, it was all the other people also who were editing the resume based on the job description, adding the keywords, then trying to make it suitable for that particular company, because it increases the chances of getting your resume shortlisted. And it's not that a person is spending 5 or 6 minutes on your resume, deeply reading it. It's not that. You probably just get 10 or 15 seconds, or a person just sees for 10 or 15 seconds. And if in those 10 or 15 seconds, it feels that, yes, you're good enough, then you go to the yes slot, otherwise you're rejected then and there. So that at that place, resume plays a very big role. And also sometimes there are softwares who are doing this. Sometimes it's not even a person who is doing this. It's a application tracking software that does it. So it is just going to see those keywords, the formatting, if it's proper or not. It is not going to really understand what is the project that you've done. But if yes, those keywords are there, then you just go into the yes slot, otherwise in the no slot. So first, at resume shortlisting, resume plays a very big important role. And in my third year, I had my resume ready. But when I started applying off campus, after I got a job at Oracle, and then I was looking for off-campus placements, then the resume started playing a very big role. Because when you're in college, when you have on-campus placements, things are a bit simpler, because there are around whatever number of students who are applying. So that's the only competition that you have. But when you apply off campus, there are lots and lots of people applying. There are thousands of resumes that the recruiter gets every day. And either they see it or the software sees it, and they just see some critical things. And if those things are met, then you probably get the chance for online test. And if they're not met, then you probably lose the chance of getting to give the online test and interviews for a big company, your dream company, or the fantasy company. So resume at this particular point plays really, really a huge role.
Nice. Oh, I think the students are listening to you. They might be able to relate, the ones who have actually graduated, with your story. And there's just one funny question, is that did it ever happen to you that you send a wrong resume? Like, okay, in this company, you should have sent a resume which should have been a little different, but you actually send the default resume that you had. Did that ever happen to you? Because
Yeah,
like
it
many
did.
students don't understand that no, they have to send different resumes to different companies. So what would you like to tell the students about it?
Yeah, so I definitely did that. It happened one. So we used to get really small deadlines. So if a company is asking for applicants maybe at 6 p.m., then we would be informed around 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. And it's obvious because there are things going on, and it's not the fault of the placement unit or the people who are getting the companies. It's just that there are short notices and you have to work on them. Now, there were only 5 hours for me, and I was sleeping for some hours. So I just got to know at 4 p.m. or 4:30 that I have to send my resume to this particular company. The company was actually a software development role. It came for software development role, but the last resume that I had sent to was a data science role. So I just took my previous resume. It was downloaded. I just sent it there, and it was the data science one. Which had just data science projects and not much focus on software development. There were some research projects also mentioned, and then eventually I did not get shortlisted there.
Okay, so guys, listen to Drishti. Sleep is important, but actually you should update your resumes while sending it. Okay, sleep is important, but not so if you want to get placed. Okay, so listen to her experience, and we will give you a chance to even ask her a few questions of your choices, which Drishti will only choose. And I think Drishti has something else to also say to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so as I said, for resume, so the first stage is resume shortlisting. At that point, your resume is important, but your resume also becomes important in the technical interviews. So you might have made a very fancy resume and you would have got shortlisted in the companies that you wanted to, but then you have to justify your resume in the technical interviews as well. So it's not that it's the only one part there where you want to just get your resume in. That's not the only place. The second place is in technical interviews. You will be asked questions based on your technical interviews, whatever projects you have mentioned, the internships you have mentioned, the technical skills that you have mentioned, all those would be tested in the technical interview. So write only those things that you feel you're confident at. Just don't just for the sake of getting in after a resume shortlist, don't write something which you are not very confident at and you might not be able to explain it in the technical interviews. So that's one very important thing.
So that means don't lie on your resume, right?
Yeah, be honest.
Be yourself, right? Because even they are experienced, they would eventually come to know that you have actually lied on your resume. So never ever try that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think you had some presentations for the students, right? Yeah. Would you like to share it to them?
Yeah, I think there was some question from one of the folks. I'm not sure. But in case if you have questions, then
yeah, you can drop your questions. And meanwhile, when she is also analyzing the resumes, you can drop in your questions related to the resume analysis.
Yeah, just a second.
Meanwhile, I learned a few things from you, Drishti. Never sleep before applying to the company. Don't lie on the resume.
Yeah, very important thing when your placements are going on. Ensure you don't sleep at all hours.
Practice makes a man perfect, right? So did you guys listen to her? Do let us know in the comment section.
Okay, so there are a few questions. I'll address them as we go along. Okay, let's start off with the presentation. It's not a very formal presentation. It's something which I learned while applying on campus, off campus for internships. And I've probably added all the things that I learned, and we could probably discuss on this. If there's some point which you feel that you need more explanation about, then do let me know that as well. So today we'll start off with first why resume is important. As I told, resume shortlisting. There are some companies which get lots and lots of applicants, and they cannot give the link for the test to all the students for the online test. It's not feasible for them. So what they do is they start off with resume shortlisting. This resume shortlisting could be done by maybe a person, a individual, or maybe a recruiter, a hiring person, or a person in the hiring team, but it could also be done by a software. Even if it's done by an individual, it's not that you are at a good position. The reason being, your resume won't be getting 10-15 minutes. It would just be getting 10 or 15 seconds. So in those 10 or 15 seconds, if your resume is thought that it is good enough and the candidate has potential, then only you go to the next round. Otherwise, you lose that chance. So that's why resume shortlisting is important there. And it's also important, also it's important not only for resume shortlisting, but there are technical interviews where you have to explain your projects, your internships, the technical skills that you have written. So all those things are important in the technical interviews. And also, so whatever you're writing, the interviewer would have seen your resume, and then he or she will have questions based on your resume only. So what you write, the interviewer has already seen it, and then based on that particular information, he has his questions ready. And last, in the HR round also, there could be some questions on your resume. So it's not that resume is only at one point. And if you're done with resume shortlisting, you're fine. Like, you don't have to worry about resume. It's not at all like that. So resume will play an important role throughout. So that's why resume is really important. And this becomes all the more very important when you're applying off campus, because off-campus placements tend to be a bit difficult when compared to on-campus. In off-campus, there are lots and lots of applicants. So if your resume stands out, then only you get a chance to interview, to give the online test, and move ahead in the application process. So if you have any doubts, then please put it in the Q&A and I'll be happy to address them. Okay, so resume tips. Not speaking a lot about here and there, let's just focus on what are the tips and what you should keep in mind. So first is one pager. Always ensure that your resume is just a page. As I said, you are just getting 10 or 15 seconds. A person is looking at your resume for 10 or 15 seconds. And how will he or she navigate for 2 pages? And also, if you have crucial information, just put them. If you have some information which would not be really helpful for that particular company or for that particular role, maybe just remove them. So just try to put it in one page. Also, add all the important work experiences, internships, and projects. So you might have done a lot of projects, a lot of internships. Maybe you would have work experience in various things. But the ones that are significant for that particular company, for that particular role, add them first. And if you have some space, then go ahead and add the others also. But just first focus on the significant parts. Also, when you are telling about your projects or your internships, try to focus on the significance, on the impact that you created. You are telling about the tech stack that you used. You worked on front end, you worked on back end, or you worked on some machine learning project. But it's fine. It's fine that you are telling about what you did. And even if you are telling why you did, that's also fine. But what impact your work created to that particular organization or to the project that you were working on is also plays a crucial role, because that ultimately tells that after all the hard work that you put in that particular project or internship, you finally got this result, because you were able to reach the end result, and that's what matters sometimes. So significance is also very important. If you want, you could add the link for your projects also. If you have a GitHub link for the project that you did, you can definitely add it as well. The next point is edit resume according to the company that you're applying for. So as I told that I was given the liberty by my college to edit my resume. But as I interacted with a few folks, they told me that some colleges don't give that liberty. So if you have that liberty, then definitely make use of that. See the job description. Whenever a company comes, they give a job description. That is, what are the areas they're working on, what are the projects that they are doing. They have a JD, and try to use that JD and write, add the keywords that you feel are important. So you'll get the information from that JD. So edit the resume according to the company. And obviously, if you are like me, if I had data science, like I'm applying for data science roles also, I'm applying for software development roles also. There is a big overlap, I agree. But if it's a software development role, then focus should be on software development. If it's a data science role, the focus should be on data science projects and internships. So you should edit your resume. And if not in the on-campus placements, depending on your college, then definitely keep this in mind when you're applying off campus. And in off campus, resume plays a very, very crucial role. Specifically, if I talk about Google, it plays a really, really big role. So first, the resume is shortlisted, and then only we proceed to the next step. So that resume plays a very important role in off campus. Then focus on the technical aspects. So yes, you could definitely tell the positions of responsibilities that you held in your college, maybe the extracurricular activities. You can tell all those, but at the last, the focus should be on the technical things that you did, because you're applying for a technical role. So you cannot have 5 positions of responsibilities and maybe a half page of extracurricular activities. That's not what is needed. You can definitely add them. They are also needed, but they're not as crucial as the technical aspects. So first thing that you have to think about is the technical aspects. And if there's some space left, then only go to the extracurriculars and the positions of responsibilities. Then quantify as much as possible, quantify on your accomplishments. So what is the significance, like after you did this project, what was the result of it? Like, what were you able to achieve after doing so much hard work? That is also very important. So you should mention that in your resume. So these are a few tips. There would be others also. But before that, I'll take up a question. How do we prepare our resume who are aiming for software job being a non-computer science student? So so if you're from a non-CSE background, but you're applying for software development roles, your resume will obviously be having some things which are non-CSE, that is from the coursework that you did or the projects that you did here, but try to have something which is related to software development. Maybe one internship. If you're in your pre-final year, then try to look for an internship that actually gives you that exposure and also helps you write something on your resume. In case that is also not possible, if you have some time, you could do a project, a small project, which is significant also in probably 3 or 4 weekends only. So you could choose a project of your interest and try to do it in 3 or 4 weekends. I'm not saying 3 or 4 weeks also. I'm saying just spending time on Saturdays and Sundays and doing that project, making it work. That project, you could use it in your resume. So these are the things that you could do. Obviously, since you are applying for software development roles, you're expected to know data structures and algorithms. You're expected to have the problem solving skills. So obviously you should write that as well. And again, if you have more time, then probably take some courses if that is permitted by your college. It depends on the college as well. So if you are permitted to do that, then definitely go ahead and take some courses also, maybe as a minor or maybe as the disciplines or the electives. Those were the terms that we had in our college. It could differ for other colleges. So obviously, your resume would have some things which are related to your coursework and which is not non-CSE, but try to include some CSE things as well. That is some things, some software development things, some CSE things, so that your resume shows that you are interested in software development and you have some expertise as well. Okay, again, if you have any questions, then just put it in the chat.
Guys, we are waiting for your questions. Is there any question that we would like to ask her, or else we'll continue with the resume analysis? And you can still drop the question. She'll pick it up whenever possible.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is mention only the subjects which you're confident at. As I said, being dishonest would cost you in the technical interviews. If you just say, I have not studied operating systems, but because people added and operating systems is necessary for this particular role, I'm just going to put it. it's fine. At that point, it would be fine. But when it would come, that is the technical interviews would come, the interviewer would see that, oh, they know operating system. They'll have questions. You could have just thought before that, I'll study operating systems for a day or two before the interview. But it does not happen. You also know before the interview, you have a lot of things. You have anxiety, you have nervousness, you have a lot of things to prepare, DSA, puzzles, then the other, your projects, your internships. So there's a lot. So don't just write it thinking that I'm going to study it later on when the interview comes. So what I mean is be honest, be just explain everything about your own self, what you know and who you are. Just don't try to portray something which you know, which you aren't.
I think we have two questions in between this. So one of the question is, can we make resume from Canva? Canva is trending. So can she make resumes from Canva?
Yes, definitely. Yes. It depends. Which, obviously, if you are applying for on-campus placements, your college might have a format which you'll have to use. You'll have to use what they are giving you. So you'll have to take those. I think it's compulsory also at some places. But in case if it's not, then feel free to choose what you feel is comfortable and what you feel would reflect you better. So that depends on you.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter where you make your resume. It should just, reflect you, right?
Yeah.
And there's another question. Someone who you earlier answered said that someone has told me that we can crack an interview without tech knowledge. Just we need to have some good communication skills. Is that true?
If you specifically talk about the FANG or the big MNCs, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's definitely possible to crack it without technical knowledge, because you are bound to have technical interviews. So if you talk about big companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Cisco, Oracle, so these companies do require technical knowledge because it's a technical role and you would need technical knowledge. And the second thing is for even the other companies, if you're not talking about these big companies, again, you would need technical knowledge. It's very difficult to crack an interview just based on communication skills. You could only do that when the company really has a demand and they want to fulfill it just by you. You are the only applicant or you are the only person who they feel is suitable for the company, or you fit in their company culture. Then only you will probably be able to do this, but I feel it's next to impossible.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you can use your communication skills when it comes to the HR round, like after you have cleared your technical round. Yes, communication skill does play a role. So you can use it there, but you at least need to have the basics. As far as I know, few companies do not require much of your technical knowledge, but at least they would want you to have the basics so that they can, groom you that way, right? If I am not
and it
wrong.
depends on the company as well. So
Yeah, Drishti is the expert show. So yeah. So there's this other question. What if we didn't do any internships or projects?
Yeah. Okay. So I did not answer this. Yeah. So if you don't have an internship, it's fine. But you could have a project. Like you could do the project on your own. That's something which is feasible. And if you have time, then definitely do it. If you don't have, then maybe try to highlight the skills that you have, the technical skills that you have. If you're good at a particular language, if you're good at DSA, or so just try to highlight the technical skills that you have. Internship, I understand many students might not have got a chance, but project could be done. Even if it's a very small project, which you did just on a weekend, that also you could put it. Obviously, it should you should have done something. It's not that you just wrote the code for a snake and a ladder problem. That's not a project. Project should be something that you built, and you could add it. Maybe just spend 2 or 3 days and build the project. But in case if your placements are just probably in 10 days and you don't have time on working on the projects, then maybe try to highlight the technical skills, DSA or a particular language that you know. So that would be really crucial there.
Okay.
Please suggest some websites or apps to create resume. I have the link in one of the slides. Obviously, you could use what some of the sites that are there, and they should be compatible with the application tracking software. So you should ensure that they are compatible, because if they aren't, then the software that the companies use, they won't be able to recognize your resume, or not won't be able to fulfill the criteria that are there. So they should be just compatible with those softwares, and then you could use any website. I have some links in the coming slides as well. Can you please suggest ideas how to build projects? So you could build projects on anything that you like. So to start off, if you don't have any particular interests, or if you are confused, I could give you some. Maybe start off creating a portal, a net banking portal, a hotel management portal, or something, some portal where you will be able to do the front end also and the back end also. So in this way, you are going to learn a lot. You're going to learn about software development. So those are some starter projects that you could do. And it's not that they are very simple and they would just take a day or so. They'll probably take some time from you, and then only you will be able to make those projects. If you're interested somewhere in machine learning field, then you could maybe have a project on NLP. You could have something on, say, text summarizer. Then you could take up a data set and start analyzing that data set. You could take a government data set, that is, there are sites from where you can take the data and then start analyzing and try to get conclusions out of it. Maybe use regression, hypothesis testing, chi-square, F-score, all these things you could use, and then convert it into, basically convert the data into some insights and useful conclusions. You could do that as well. You could also work on recommender models. So recommenders are really trending. So Amazon uses recommenders, Netflix uses recommenders. So there are lots of recommenders available. So there are content based, there are collaborative filtering, there is hybrid model also. You could just pick up one of those recommenders and try to replicate it, maybe on let's say some dishes, or maybe on movies only, on the movie data set. So you could do all those. These are some of the ideas that just came to my mind, but whatever you feel is interesting, try to do that. If you don't have specific interest, then maybe take one of them, or take or try to search for other ideas which you feel you'll be able to do. You should also have that confidence that I'll be able to do, or maybe get something as the output.
Okay, so moving forward to the slide, so that we can continue with the questions further. So let's have some more questions, then we'll continue with them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we were, yes, mentioned only the subject that you are confident at. I wasn't confident at computer architecture and computer networks, but one of the really big companies, they were looking for someone who had that knowledge, and because of that, my resume was shortlisted, and they asked me a lot of questions on computer networks, and then I was really not able to answer them. And they were happy with the DSA part, but they weren't. So they had a lot of questions on computer networks. When I said I am weak at computer networks, because I did computer networks course, but because of COVID, it was the online one, and I did not have exams also for it. So because I did not have exams, I am not that strong at computer networks. I tried to answer a few questions that I knew, but it was something that they were expecting more. Similarly, then they moved to computer architecture. I was familiar with a few of the concepts, but again, then they had other questions as well, because they were specifically looking for someone in that particular domain. So from there, I learned that was for internship. But from there, I learned I'm going to put each and every word in my resume which I know, which I'm confident at. I'm not going to put all the subjects that I have done, because a computer science student does lots of subjects, computer science related subjects. But if you put all of them, and if the interviewer gets interested in one of the subjects, then you might have to answer what questions they have. So it's better we put everything that we are confident at, that we know of, and we are very well familiar with it. So that's what I learned. And I would also say that you guys please don't make that mistake that I did in my internship. Since it was an internship, it did not matter a lot to me, but this is something that if you do in your placements might might not be a good show when you go in an interview and you say, I don't know this particular thing, but I have written it in my resume. So mention the hackathons, any hackathon that is inter-college, intra-college that you took part in, do mention them. That's also something that is good. Use the keywords. I have been stressing a lot on the keywords. So by keywords, I mean the technical words. Even when you see the JD, the job description of a company, they have some requirements. That is skills in this particular, they have the prerequisites, they have the desired qualifications also. So they mention a lot of things. So try to get an idea from those. And if you have those things, then try to highlight them in your resume. And keywords also play an important role when a software is analyzing your resume, because a software is trained to analyze the resume on the basis of keywords. If the keywords are there, it puts in the yes slot, otherwise it puts in the no slot. So keywords hold importance. I would say a lot of importance. So try to focus on those. Get resume reviewed by industry experts. So if you have that thing, try to get your resume to some of the experts and get their comments from that. Obviously they'll have something. They'll probably point you to some small mistakes which you are not able to identify. So that could be done by the experts, and that would also be really helpful. And the last thing, be honest. If you're not honest, you're going to face something like I had in my internship interview. So be honest, just mention only those things that you are confident and you feel that you will be able to explain if things come based on those in your technical rounds. So be honest, just reflect whatever you are in your resume. Yeah.
Okay. So we have few questions, but let's move forward. And I have one interesting question that I can see here. We'll answer that, but they're very long answers. So I'm just putting you on hold till we move forward. And when Drishti said, get resume reviewed by industry experts, I was actually smiling because we are there for you. I'll let you know how we're going to help you with this. But right now, I think Drishti is going to analyze 1 or 2 resumes, which is going to actually help you. So let's move forward. Yeah.
Okay, we'll answer these later, but yes, we are going to answer them.
Yes, we are definitely going to answer them.
Okay, so the don'ts. We figured out till now what we should do, but there are some things which you definitely should avoid. One is the spelling and the grammar errors. So read your resume again and again. Ensure that there are no errors like these, because these are obviously not really welcomed. Then tenses. So somewhere you are using the past tense, somewhere you are using something else. That also does not work out. So even if there's one project in which you are using something and in the second project you're using something else, that's also not a good practice. So try to be consistent throughout your resume. First person pronouns. This is something that people do a lot. You would say that I got this thing, I did this, I built a model. This I or we, these are not the pronouns that you should use in your resume. It should be in the past tense, like got an accuracy of 96%. And even got an accuracy of 96% could be changed to, if you already had something and then you made a modification to that, you could say increase the accuracy by 20%, something of this sort. So if you modified something, then because that 20% is what you made the change, because of your work, that thing changed. That was the impact that you created. So that would also be preferred. Inconsistent formatting. So I usually see a lot of resume in the examples also that I'll show. There are different fonts used. So sometimes the title is smaller than the actual content in size. So those, and sometimes it happens that in one section you have some font, in the other section you have another font. That's not what a resume should look like. It should be consistent throughout, and the titles should obviously be a bit bigger in size than the actual content. List everything. So and long paragraphs. So basically you don't have to write everything in long paragraphs. So if you have a project you're not writing the summary of your project. You shouldn't have a big paragraph explaining why you did, what was the objective, then these are the hurdles that you face, then finally you came up with the solution. You don't have to write the story there, because you have to conserve that story for your technical interview. You can't say everything in your resume. So have bullet points, and you shouldn't list everything also. List everything also, I mean, is each and every detail of your project or internship shouldn't be in your resume. Only the important ones, what, why, what was the significance, how, these are the things that should be answered in maybe bullet points. You could have some bullet points which explain these things about your internship or project, and then other details you can save it for your technical rounds. If you save it, then you will have a lot to say in your technical rounds as well. And obviously you want it to be in a page. So don't list everything and don't write long paragraphs. It should be precise, concise, and also creating an impact. As I said, your interview really gets a few seconds, and the impact should be created by that. No one is going to read your long paragraph. And if there are multiple long paragraphs, the interviewer, the recruiter is not even have that time to see what's actually mentioned in those paragraphs. So try to have bullet points. Don't write everything, just mention the details, the significant details, and try to keep it concise. So these are the things which you definitely shouldn't do. Now, format. Again, format depends on you. The one that you're comfortable with, the one that you feel reflects you better, you should use that format. But it should first start off with your name and contact information, then your education, since you're a fresher, then technical proficiency, that you are skilled in these particular languages, or you have knowledge about these things. Then your internships, because internships have more significance, and you would have created an impact in your internship because of your project. And then finally, the projects that you've done formally under some professors, informally under professors, or you've done on your own, those should be there. And then other details follow. So these things should definitely be there, and they should start off with name and contact information. So the format that you want would depend, but they should have all the details, and they should be compatible with the software that the company is using. Okay, I see a lot of questions.
So you mentioned the format. So someone is asking, should there be no objective in resume? Is there no need of objective in resume?
It can be there. It can be there, and it's good also if you're writing an objective. That is also something which can be there. Not compulsory, but if it's there, it's good. But yeah, these things should be there.
I have a quick question. I see people writing down their addresses in resumes. What do you think about that?
Address is not necessary at all. So I feel whenever there's something that you have to write in your resume, I ask a question to myself, is it necessary or not? I feel address is not necessary, so maybe skip it. But if you have space, if it's the format that your college has given, then please write it. But yeah, according to me, it's not necessary at all.
Right.
Okay. Is professional summary needed? You definitely can have it, and it would be good also if you write that, but it's not compulsory. I took that question from the chat.
Yeah, and some questions are in quick Q&A also. We'll move forward. We have not many questions with long answers, I suppose, explanations. That's why I'm looking. I just picked out one because it was, a short answer. Yeah.
You can also tell me the questions that are important in the middle.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you are the expert. I'll leave it to you, but it was just a quick answer, so I'll let you do it. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, internships and projects, try to write them in bullet points. First thing, what you did, how you did, what's the tech stack that you used, and the impact that you created, the significance of the work that you did. These are the things that should be there in those bullet points. It's even fine if you want to just write it as a short paragraph, not as bullet points. That would also work, but don't keep it as a big paragraph. That's something which would not be really appreciated. And impact created, if you are modifying something, if you tweaked it a bit, then saying decreased the MSc or the error to 0.2, it's better to say decrease the MSc by 20%, because 20% is something that you decreased. That's something, so the person does not know initially what was the MSc, and they just know what is the MSc now. So they don't know, like you could have come from 0.21 to 0.2. That's not a good thing, right? Not a very impactful thing. But you could have also come from 4 to 0.2. So that's really huge. So try to show it in percentages, because percentages give the relative thing that you've done. They tell us that this is the improvement that happened because of the work that you did. So just try to, whenever you're editing your internships and projects, try to focus on these three things, and then probably write 2 or 3 bullet points, and that would suffice. Okay, so I have a question for you, and I would like to have an answer from you only. Is this the right way to describe a project? A yes or no answer in the chat.
Please start commenting in the chat box, please. No, I see one no. What about
others?
Are you guys not sure? I mean, Drishti has explained so many do's and don'ts. You must be able to figure out by now. I can see 2 no's.
Yeah, it's actually a big no. Everyone is correct.
I'll also vote no.
Yeah, this is a lot of information for one project, and it could have been just 2 or 3 points, and all these details are not necessary. These are definitely not necessary. The goal of this project is to use a clustering algorithm. You shouldn't start like this. Just focus on those 3 or 4 points that I told you. And this is definitely not going to give you good marks. Not even when you're sitting for resume shortlisting, this is not something which is definitely going to help you get your resume shortlisted. So a very big no here.
I have a comment saying I won't even like to read it. So
yeah,
if
definitely
you like to read it, don't make one. Like no one should make something like that.
Yeah, I understand. There would be some people who don't have a lot of internships. They might have not done a lot of projects, but still in those conditions also, don't put it like this. If you want to elaborate it, put it in bullet points. Try to explain things in those bullet points, but don't write a paragraph like this. And some things which are not even significant, just don't mention them. So
yes, right. And I would also
even
like to
yeah.
Add that this is for the non-technical people as well, because even they don't have projects or something, but they also have a resume where they add their experience and everything. So I think that this applies for the non-technical backgrounds as well, right, Drishti?
Yeah, definitely. So bullet points definitely in non-technical resume also. So when you're applying for analyst roles, or you're applying for, let's say, business analyst, data analyst, or even APMs, these are the things which are definitely not recommended. And I would also say that when you're applying for non-tech jobs, your resume plays a more important role as compared to technical roles, because your resume is everything. There will be lots and lots of discussions on your resume there. So there, your resume holds huge significance. Yeah. So one more question I have. So I'm basically coding in C++. Whatever codes I have written, they are in C++. And I also want to answer all the questions what the interviewer asks me in C++. And so how will I write the languages in the language section or the technical proficiency? Is this the way, or is this the way, or are both of them wrong, or are both of them correct? You have 4 options as an MCQ. You could just tell me, is first the way, or is the second the way, or none, or both? Just one word answer in the chat would do. So my main expertise is in C++, and I want to get questions also that I want to code in C++. Okay. What about others?
Saying looks like the second way is better. Second one is correct. Second. Okay, I think we have a good audience.
Yeah, so you first stating that you're saying C first. That means your preference is C. So this tells that your preference is C, and even if the recruiter tries to assign you a technical interviewer, then he or she would see this and give you the one who is actually expert in C. So this tells that C is your first preference. So this is something which you shouldn't do. Whichever is the language as your first preference, try to write it first. This would work, but if you have like if you know C++, then there might be some knowledge about C as well. So you could write C++, comma C. And if you have some other languages also, then add them. But the first language should be your preference and the one that you are an expert at. So yes, as you said, second could be correct, but you could add more to it as well. Okay, so I was talking about the software, that's the application tracking software, and try to use only the formats which are compatible with these softwares. So the commonly accepted fonts are these Arial, Times New Roman, and so on. So don't try to use a very fancy fonts, but it may happen that the software does not even accept them. So try to keep it simple, try to use these fonts only. Right keywords in your resume are really essential because there's a software, it's trained to figure out those keywords, extract those keywords, and then make the judgment based on those. So the keywords would be very important. Then ATS doesn't process pictures. So if you have some tables or if you have some text boxes or if you have made some charts or plots, those won't be really accepted by ATS and your resume might not be selected. So if you are applying for a company which you think can have the software, or even if you don't think you don't have information, try to keep it compatible with the software so that even if the software is at use, you still get a green signal. And I have a link here which will tell you more about application tracking systems and the format that you could use so that things become easier for you and you get a green signal from this software.
Can you paste the link here so that the students can actually check it out later?
Yeah, just a second. Okay. And I think, yes, that's only the thing that I have for slides. But yeah, I have some resume where I would like me and you all to identify what are the common mistakes, what are the errors that these students have made. They are basically the students who are actually going ahead with the placements in probably a few days or a few weeks. And let's identify what are the mistakes that they have done. So, but before that, if there are any questions, then we could answer
Yes,
those.
we can at least answer one of the question before moving on to. Okay, I am learning Python. So should I need to know DSA, SQL, OOPS, as well as to get a job in IT?
So if you're learning Python, um, basically you'll be solving problems in Python, right? So you could actually solve the DSA questions in Python. So DSA would be needed because in Python you're doing questions. So DSA would be a skill that you can combine with Python. So you could solve the questions, the coding questions in Python. So that's one thing. SQL, object-oriented programming, if you're from non-CSE background and you have not studied them, it's not a must. You can definitely get placed without SQL and OOPS as well. But Python plus DSA might be good for you. But yeah, if you have time, then go ahead and get an advantage by SQL and OOPS. But if you don't have time, if you feel that you only want to focus on Python and DSA, because DSA is the most important. So DSA plus Python would be something that will definitely help you.
Okay, so someone has a question that I am a BTech and MTech in mechanical, but due to lack of jobs in mechanical branch, he wants to shift to IT. So is it possible if I build sufficient skills? About
Yes.
skills, Drishti will answer, but if you want to shift to IT jobs, I think you are at the right place. Cantilever Labs do have a free course for all of you guys. So I will be telling more about it after you go through the resume analysis, okay? Now to the expert, how do I build these sufficient skills with the help of Cantilever, and will be answered by Drishti, I guess.
Yeah. So yes, you can build sufficient skills. I have seen a lot of companies, even big companies, hiring people who are not from CSE or electronics. I have my few friends also who are really placed at good companies, but they were from chemical, civil, mechanical. It's just that you need to have those skills. If you're starting off, start off picking a language that you're comfortable at. I would again, as I said yesterday also, C++, Java would be recommended, but Python is also fine. I would say don't go with C. So try to select a language and then start um, exploring everything about that particular language. Like if you have C++, try to explore everything about STL and then try to start working on algorithms. So start off with, let's say, arrays, then you start working on strings and you do on and on. In this way, you will be able to have a good grip on DSA. Obviously, you will have to dedicate some time. You could definitely learn DSA in a month. Um, if you if you give a dedicated month, and if you have some more time, then that would be an added advantage. So yes, it is possible, but you will have to dedicate some time specifically for this particular thing. And yes, it's possible, and if you do this, then definitely you're going to get placed, and that would be a good place. It's not that you're only going to get um, a job which has a low package, or is a startup. Or obviously startups are also good, there are startups doing great work, but it's not that you'll be getting a mediocre or a low level job. You will definitely be getting good jobs also if you have the skills. So skills is what matters. Even I can vouch for Google also. Google does not see which branch you're coming from, it just sees the skills. So there are lots of companies like this. Yeah.
Okay, moving forward to the resume analysis. Before that, I would like to tell you guys that if any one of you is interested to get your resume, analyze live, so you can do that. I'll be sharing a form. You can submit your resume in that form, and we'll select your resume for analysis. Okay. So moving ahead, I'll put the link in the comment section. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll move on to maybe a few of the resume, not many. So this is the first resume that I'm picking. I'm sorry if uh, so just ignore the individual's name and all those. Let's focus on the details and try to figure out whether this is the right way or not. So so I just ask you first. What do you think? Is it a good resume or no? Or are there improvements that could be there? So do you think this is a good resume? Just say yes or no. So this is the resume that I have here.
We have someone saying that photos should not be included. Someone is saying improvements are possible. Someone has directly said no.
Yeah, no white spaces should be present. Yeah, there's a very big gap here which has nothing, and also there's a second page
Okay, a second page which has
which is
nothing.
empty. Yeah, so
Without this white space, you can actually save some of your data storage on your phone or laptop.
so this is definitely not good. Also, the way that the project is mentioned, this project is a single web page containing different text items and text area to add custom tasks. Um, I know it's a project. Why do we want to highlight it again here that this is a project? So, so there are some things which are not necessary. And as I said, include only those things, those words that you feel are necessary in a resume. So obviously this white space is something which is not good. Um, so yes, and the wording is also what is not proper. If you see the last line after easier, there's an like it's not ending. It's not a complete sentence also. So there's no full stop there. So that's also something which is not good. And these are the things which definitely a person looking at a glance would be able to see, and even the software is trained to figure out all these. So this is something which might not be good. And one more thing that I had was, um, so here, some things, this particular thing, this achievement, the first achievement is highlighted. If you have something significant in a particular point, highlight one or two words. Don't highlight the entire thing. So now you see these points, the first, second, third point, they all are in uppercase. The fourth one is in lowercase. Maybe the person did not notice this, but this is something which is crucial. Like, it's proper formatting. Your resume should be properly formatted as well. So to take those things also into consideration, these errors shouldn't be there. If you just look at a resume twice or thrice and get it reviewed by someone, these things would definitely go away. And here the skills are mentioned as C/C++. So I would assume that the person prefers C. So if it's the other case, then it should be otherwise also. And also, this problem solving word is not essential. Data structures and algorithms is sufficient. Problem solving is not at all needed for this particular thing. Yeah. Extracurriculars, if you're writing the positions of responsibilities you're writing, it's good, but highlighting the entire thing is something which you should avoid. Just highlight those things which are really very important. Photo, I wouldn't say as someone, photo, I wouldn't say, someone mentioned in the chat that photo should not be included. I wouldn't say as it should be or shouldn't be, because I think it's the format that the college has provided. And some colleges do have this format where you have to paste a photo. So if you're applying off campus, photo you cannot include. Like, it's recommended that you don't include, but if you are applying on campus, then probably your photo is needed. And also, photo is not something, your one photo, your passport size photo would be enough also. It's not that it's a big no. It's not like that. Yeah. So I have another resume again.
Okay, so just a reminder, I have put the Google form link where you can submit your resume, because as Drishti mentioned in the do's and don'ts, that if it is good that you can get it analyzed by an industry experts. So we do have industry experts. One of them is Drishti in front of us. So if you want to get it analyzed before applying to some company, you can get it done. Just fill up the form and let us know.
Okay, so this is the second one. As I said, photo is something probably that the college demands, that is their format, and it's fine if you have your one photo. So that would also work. So apart from photo, do you think anything else which is, again, there's a empty page, which is a big no, but what do you think about this resume? A yes or no? Like, do you feel it's fine or not? Just a yes or no too.
Yes, please share your opinions.
Yes, not consistent in formats. Okay, you want me to zoom it a bit?
No, zoom out. It's actually zoom out. They
Can
can't
you please zoom out? So sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay, zoom out. This is okay.
Actually,
I'll
person wants to see the
download
full
it.
resume in one page, I suppose.
Okay, let me show it here. Okay, this is also
100%, decrease it, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, this
That works. Yeah. Sorry, I read it as zoom in.
No
Yeah.
issue. Zoom it a little, even I can't, like 70% should work. Yeah, it works.
Let's ignore
Like to
a
see
part of the
it.
photo and see this. Yeah.
Yeah, just ignore the photo.
So what are your thoughts on this? Like, do you feel it's fine? It's not fine? It's okay? Your thoughts?
Someone just said about the formats, I suppose, that not
Yeah.
consistent. The form is asking permission. Okay, that is not a question. Um, not consistent in formats and fonts.
Yes, definitely. So even I would say it's not consistent in the color also. So left side is black, the right side is somewhat um, a different color, maybe a gray. So that's also something which is definitely not right here. Yeah, it's okay, but would need slight improvements. Yes, I agree. Also, if you see this game that he has mentioned, the popular Sudoku game, comma, players have to arrange numbers from 1 to 9 such that they appear only once in a row and column of a 9x9 grid. This is something which is definitely not necessary here. The second line is the main thing to understand is the backtracking to find rows and columns that are not assigned any values. This looks like that it's the starting of a particular project. So it feels that there's a lot more details there. So it's not mentioned that what the person did. It's just mentioned that this is the problem statement. So you're not writing the problem statement, you're telling what you did and how you did. Obviously, he used C++, he has mentioned that. But this particular first line is definitely not essential, and this complete thing is not at all complete for this particular project. And using pure C++ is also not needed. It could be added in the paragraph only, or if needed in the bullet points. Again, I have a few more things to address here. Yeah, colors, definitely it should be the same color, preferably black. Obviously, you could have the headlines or the titles as different color. That's fine, but um, both the colors, that is this black and this gray, it shouldn't be there. So it should be consistent in the color. Here, Oracle word is not necessary. SQL is completely fine. Oracle does not play a role here, so that could be removed. Then, yes, there were few things that I had with, yeah, um, the full stops were not there, as you see here. That's also a problem. So these are some small things that you definitely have to work on. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. Um, okay, so I think there are issues with the form that
Yes,
probably
we
Kasturi
are
is going
working
to.
on it. Yeah, the team is working on the form. Don't worry. I think it should help you now.
Yeah, okay, the last one. Again, I'll zoom out. 1 second, I'll download it and zoom out. And probably you could tell me your thoughts on this resume. Yeah. So what do you think? Is it fine? Needs improvement? Or is it perfect? Or not good at all? So your thoughts here?
One says perfect. Is it your form?
No,
Someone
no,
has said perfect. Maybe it's their form.
no.
We are working on the Google form. We'll just, after the analysis, we'll give you a link where you can submit your resume. Yeah.
Font should be uniform. Yes, that's something definitely there. And if I also zoom in a bit, if you see the projects, I feel that these lines have a font size higher than the particular title also. So the content has a size greater than the title. Anything else? So anything else, what do you think? but maybe it's too much on paper. Um, it's fine, I guess. Like not too much because he tried to accommodate all his internships and project in one. So that's why you'll see that it has a lot of things, but I think it would work. One thing that I had, obviously, probably you're not able to analyze. Yes, why the person said was formatting the fonts should be uniform. This particular thing, you see the programming language, frameworks, technologies, database, the font is really different. So I don't know, it's kind of not similar to the entire resume. Everything else seems to be right, but this particular font is different, which should be changed. I also, I'm not sure why the platforms are mentioned as Windows and Linux. So maybe this is something which I would have removed. Also, if you see, yes, definitely they have, the person has said it in proper tense, created the front end, developed a microservice, developed a media application. So that's fine. But if you are trying, this is just something which you could improve on. It's not a mistake. Here it's written developed. Maybe in the next line you could have wrote created or built, something of this sort, just to have different words. Similarly, similarly here we had implemented twice. So you could change it a bit. So maybe different words. And here, this project aims to prevent human-machine accidents using real-time object detection and trajectory prediction. This line could definitely be formatted because here it's aims and here it's trained. So the tense is different. And also this line shouldn't be starting like this. It should be aimed to prevent or something. Aim is also not a good word. Uh, Maybe you could have changed the title also to have something like this, but some improvement definitely needs to be there. The tenses are also incompatible. Again, otherwise it looks decent. One more thing that I have is this particular line. This is something of a mismatch. I think this line came from one of the projects, so this definitely should be removed. It's not a part of coursework information. So it should have started from programming and data structures. This is something which has gone wrong and it has come from one of the projects above. So yeah, these are the few things that we could identify. And as I said, bullet points are good. As someone said that there was too much of information. Yeah, okay, feedback form is working now. Yeah. So as someone said, there's too much of information. It's fine. It's okay. What this person could have done in that case is, obviously it's a suggestion, not completely necessary. No one is going to reject you on this basis, but maybe decreased the font size because it's good enough. You could decrease it a bit and add only the essential details. You could have maybe combined two or three points into one, where you are just explaining what you did. And as I said, three things are important: what you did, how you did, and what was the impact it created. Impact would definitely come in internships and projects. It might not be the case. You might have just made the project and did not care about the impact. That is fine. But in internships, there should be an impact. Yeah, and here C++ is mentioned. That is the first preference is C++. So looks to be the best resume out of the three that we saw. But yeah, some improvements can definitely be there. It's not that any resume is perfect. You could point out some small things about each resume, but you should try to go as close as to the ideal resume in such a way that no one is able to identify something that's wrong. Obviously, they would have suggestions, but things shouldn't be wrong there. And also, if suggestions are crucial, then please work on them as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so just an announcement that the form is actually working right now. So you can just actually start filling the form right away, because we are planning to give Drishti one of the resumes. So she'll be actually analyzing the resume live as of now. So till then, we'll take few of the questions that were not answered. I think I saved this for this situation, I guess. But please fill the form meanwhile, till Drishti answers some of your questions. Okay, so we'll pick up one of the resume and then Drishti would actually, analyze it life in front of you guys. Okay, so just fill it ASAP. So till then we can answer a few of the questions. So there's this one interesting question, that what skills are required to get in Google? So how did you get into Google, Drishti? Someone wants to know.
Yeah. So long story short, there. So what happened with me, I'll tell you. But probably Google has changed a bit of format. So like 1 year ago, they did not come for on-campus placements at a lot of places. So it was generally off-campus. And there used to be 5 interviews. So first, there was a telephonic interview after your resume is shortlisted, or if Google also had an online test then. So if you were selected in the online test, or if your resume was shortlisted, it was not the both. So if maybe it could be resume shortlisting, maybe it could be the online test, or probably could be both also, depending on how Google is trying to recruit. Then after it, there's a telephonic interview. You will first be informed that your resume is shortlisted or you've qualified the online test, and you will be asked to schedule a telephonic interview. So you will be given the opportunity to tell on which day you want it. Since I was kind of apprehensive that I want to prepare a bit, it's Google, things would be tough. So I gave a date of 2 weeks. So I said after 2 weeks, some date, maybe a Monday or a Tuesday. So I thought I'll prepare till then. So telephonic interview was there, which again, it would be the engineers and the developers in Google who are actually going to take the interview. So then that was an interview where I had a couple of questions only on DSA, nothing else. Obviously, first few minutes, it would be like introduction, but there won't be any questions on internships or anything of that sort. It would purely be on DSA, the language you could choose, and then you will have to code it also. And it also happens that once you're given a question, you have to code it also, and they have a platform, something similar as Google Docs. So you will have to code in Google Docs. It's not a compiler. So that's something which is tricky. And if you have your Google interviews, then try writing the code there, because you won't be able to get that you've made a spelling mistake, or you have probably made an error in the curly braces or a parenthesis. So those things you'll not get to know in the Google Docs. So try preparing those, write codes in Google Docs sometimes, so that this helps you in your Google interviews. After the telephonic interview, once you are qualified that you've done good, and then you move on to the 5 rounds that I was talking about. They're actually called on-site interviews, because Google calls students at a particular location and then interviews are held. But since because of the pandemic, everything was virtual. But probably things would again start as on-site interviews, where you'll be called and you'll be giving the interview face-to-face. So I had them virtual. There were 5. So 4 of them are on DSA. Again, you are given questions, 2 questions, and you have to discuss the approaches and then code it. So that's what you have to do. And all those are based on DSA. There's nothing else. There's no system design, no object-oriented programming, no operating systems. So everything is just DSA only. Again, language depends on you, which one you want to choose. I would say C++, Java, or Python. Then after these 4 rounds are done, if you qualify for them, then you have the 5th round, that is the Googliness round, which is kind of a HR round, where they are trying to figure out whether you're a right fit for Google or not. You might be exceptionally well on DSA and on problem solving, but maybe not the right fit for that particular company. So that's what is judged in the Googliness round. And after these 5 rounds, it's not over yet. After these 5 rounds, whatever is the feedback of all the interviewers, it becomes a packet and it goes to the hiring committee. And the hiring committee then decides whether the person should be hired or not hired. So that's the entire process. For me, it took around 3 months or so. It's not the fault of the company. It was me who wanted to delay things as much as possible, because I wanted time to prepare. I was anxious. So that's what is on my part. It was not that Google was not willing to take interviews. It was I who wanted time for each and every interview. So that's the entire process. If the company comes now, I've heard that Google comes on campus also to a few colleges. And if that's the case, then things would be really fast. And instead of those 5 interviews that I talked about, the number would be decreased to 2 or 3. So that's the entire process.
Okay, so we have some forms coming in. I mean, the resume. So there's a question from a non-IT person before like starting the resume live. Could you please share how can a non-IT student prepare for Google? So everyone is
Okay.
trying to get into Google. I'm coming soon.
Actually, here, Google does not care about the college you're coming from, honestly. It could be any college. It's just that you need to have the skills. Now, how to start preparing? I would again say is take take a language, whichever you feel are comfortable at. If you don't have a preference, if you're just starting off, then probably take one out of C++ and Java. And if you want, you can take for Python. Then once you have the language, then learn the data structures in that language so that you are language ready. That is, you won't face any problems while coding maybe a queue or a stack in that particular language. So first is get acquainted with a particular language and be very familiar with that. And then start off with basically having different you have different things in DSA. So you start off with arrays, then you have strings, then you have some greedy algorithms, recursion, then you have stacks, queues, questions on all these. Then you have divide and conquer. Then you move to some advanced topics like graphs, trees, dynamic programming. So there's a lot of things. There are a lot of topics which are there. So you will have to pick up each topic. So you start off with arrays, dedicate some time to questions on arrays. It's not theory. It's all about solving questions. So you solve a lot of questions on arrays, get confidence on arrays, and then move on to the next topic. And you go on. And in this way, you are going to build your problem solving skills. And that's what's needed for Google or any MNC in general. So DSA is the core. If you know DSA, if you're confident at DSA, things would be really, really simple for you.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would be difficult, but it's not that without, even if you have decent knowledge of DSA and some other things, you might get hired.
Okay, so some of the students are asking if they can get sample resumes. So we do have a community, guys. We do have a community in Discord. Bill, I'll show you the screen. So you can actually join actually the link has also been pasted. So you can actually join our Discord community. I'll just show you the screen, okay?
I'll stop sharing.
Oh yeah, you can stop sharing, yeah.
Oh.
Let me know once you're able to, see my screen. Just a second, I'm trying. Anyways, the Discord link has been pasted in the chat box, so you can directly join the Discord link. This is our community where we have students from like around the world as well from top institutes. We already have a good number of students there. We have discussions as well as you are updated about all the events that we are conducting. Like the students already in the Discord link were aware about this event, yesterday's event, and all the upcoming event. And as you said that you should get it analyzed by industry experts, so we have those industry experts in our Discord link as well. So it's just a community. Sometimes what happens is, sometimes you don't feel like talking to your professor about it. What if they judge us or something like that? So you talk to your friend, right? Someone who is going through the same thing. So there are people who are from the technical as well as the non-technical background. So you can join our Discord link through the link that has been pasted on the chat box. And what about Drishti? Did you have any such community in college, to have some discussion? What do you think about this idea?
We actually had CantileverLabs coming for training in our college.
We're there to help you out. I see. I see. So yes, so you would suggest them to join us, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
definitely.
it's just a general discussion. We just keep you updated. We also keep you updated what's happening in our website. We have the free courses, and you can also join our job portal. I'll be pasting the link. And Yes, we are reviewing the resumes. Just 2 minutes of suspense, please. Let's see. I have sent you the resumes, Drishti, so you can just check that. She'll open it. Meanwhile, I'll just give you some information about Cantilevers, that our job portal. I'll paste the link here, so you can just check that out. Sign in, and you just only have to do one thing: just sign in through your account, and then you'll be able to see our free courses. Okay, I'll send the link here. Meanwhile, let Drishti go through the resume, and let me know if there is any issue getting the resumes, Drishti.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'll do it.
Meanwhile, guys, I have pasted the link to you. This is the website, CantileverLabs.com. You can check it out. You just have to create an account, and you would be able to see all the courses available. As soon as you log in, sign up, you'll be able to see the latest free course, which will have aptitude, mock, reasoning, VSA as well, also the coding part, and access to some of the free materials as well. The only thing that you have to do is just create an account, and you'll be able to see it. I'll try showing it to you for an example, but before that, we'll move on to analyzing the resume. Let's see who gets the chance.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. Again, I start off with you people analyzing it first. So again, I'll zoom it out. So yeah, this is the resume. So what do you think about it? Is it good? Okay, perfect.
It is someone from the attendee, right? Sajia
Yes.
Begum. I would like to ask to her to unmute herself so that we can talk to her, something like one-on-one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I would also like to hear her.
Okay, she's
Okay,
here.
Sajia, can you please unmute yourself so that we can Drishti can actually talk to you about your resume, and you can also ask your questions.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. So yeah. So what do you think? Like, obviously, I see a professional summary here, but can you point out some things that you feel could be improved upon here? You there, Shazia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So anything that you feel?
Yes, ma'am. I think I should include some more sessions in my resume to make it like 2 pages.
No. Definitely 1 page is good. Don't have it as 2 page. 1 page is definitely good. But like the fonts, maybe you see the fonts are different here and different here. It's the same section, but still the fonts are different, right? Similarly, here it's different, and it's fine if this is a professional summary and you want the font to be different only for this particular part. That's fine, but having it same for all the sections would definitely be good, especially for internships, educational background, projects, and so on, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Also, let's.
One more thing I guess is like my resume is more specific for only web development.
Yeah, it depends on the company you're applying for. That would, but if it's you say a software development role, that would do. Again, if you have the JD, then you could try to put the keywords. That depends on the company you apply for. Also, let's just see the professional summary. Enthusiastic web developer, eager to contribute to team success through hard work, attention to detail, and excellent organizational skills. Motivated to learn, grow, and excel in IT industry. That's also one of the good professional summary. So that's a big yes. Professional summary is good. Again, the projects I feel. So basically, there's spacing problems in between the skills and in the projects. You see, there's difference in the spacings. So projects could also be spaced like the skills or the certifications are spaced. Again, certifications are also bold, which it's not necessary. Instead of writing programming in C and Python, you could say C, comma Python. Again, if so, this means that you are skilled at C. Am I guessing it correctly, or is it the otherwise?
Yes, ma'am.
So C is your main language, and the second one is Python, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. In skills, web development projects are not necessary because they are already in the internships. So we can remove this as well. Project management, yeah.
I actually wanted to know, should I include this compassion, teamwork, and collaboration? This should I include or not include?
I don't think so. So I was coming to this. It's definitely not needed in the skills part. That's something which you've already kind of mentioned in the professional summary, and it's definitely not needed here. Instead, you could use that space to probably elaborate a bit on your projects, right?
Okay. And
And
what about
also,
is it too brief?
so for the first project, you have written 3 points. Let's go through them. Utilize scripting languages, content creation tools, design websites, consulted customers. I think with is, I'm not sure, consulted customers to gather requirements and discuss design choices, created unique spaces for marketing ads within landing pages. So you've just told what you did. Maybe what was the tech stack that you used is something that you should add. And the third thing is, as you consulted customers and you got to know their requirements, and then you made things, right? So maybe consulted customers should be the first line. And then based on that, what were the things that you did? And then how did things change? How did things go good or went better after the changes that you made? So it could be made like a story in points. So it would be good. And similarly, you could do it for the other internship also. And so I feel is the second internship, so the priority order is correct, right? The first internship is the most important, followed by second, followed by third, or is it based on the?
I did first, I have included first.
Okay.
Then most recent is placed at last. It should be like reverse or what?
That's fine. If you have the priority that is the most important one is at the top, then that would also work. That's okay. So yeah, that would work. I felt that the third internship has more details. So if it's more important, then maybe put it at second.
Okay.
And worked with team is not necessary. You could say implement automatic timetable generator system.
Okay, fine.
Or you could just say implemented timetable generator system. Automatic is also something which is obvious.
Okay.
Also here, I currently study here is, you can say 2018 to present. That would also work. It's not necessary to mention I currently study here. Okay, and educational background could be, so you could restructure it. I'm not sure if this is the format that you followed, but if you can restructure it, maybe have educational background at the top and professional summary. Yeah.
Where I should include this educational background?
Maybe before internships.
Okay.
So
first
educational background and then the internships.
Okay.
And looks like you've just mentioned the names of the projects. So
yes,
if you try to add a few details to the projects, that would also work. But this just means that projects are a very small part. So if you add a few details about the projects, what did you do? You've mentioned, but what was the tech stack used? That could also be added here, right? So those things could be changed in the project. Obviously, you have only space. If you want, you could decrease the space that's green here. You could reduce that space and add a few more details. It's good you've mentioned your LinkedIn. Email is good. If you want, you could mention your contact number also. That would also help. If you want, you could have the GitHub links also here if they are in GitHub, or even if the projects are on GitHub. If they're not there, it's absolutely fine. These certifications could be like not in bold. They should be in the normal font only. Again, the font inconsistency is there. So some is italic, some is normal, some is bold. So just keep them all same. If you want to highlight some particular thing, like I'm assuming you are trying to highlight the professional summary. So just keep it bold. Just keep that particular thing bold. And if there's some very important word, then highlight that word only, not everything else.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, so seems okay, it's not that there's something really wrong here, but there can be improvements which could actually help you get shortlisted more.
I think this might have helped Sazia.
A
How
lot, ma'am. Thank you so much.
no issues. So
Welcome.
guys, yes, I was telling you about Cantilever Labs website. Saji, also please have a look at it, because we have some free courses. I think this might be helpful to everyone present here. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a meanwhile, you can answer this one of the last question, which is, can we mention competitive exam that we appeared, like JEE mains,
Yeah, yeah.
awards in
I
the
have one thing that I definitely forgot. Thanks for the person who pointed this out. J, mains, advanced, all these you can mention. You can also mention the scholarships that you've got probably in college or otherwise. Let's say NTSC scholar, KVPY scholar, or any scholarship that you got. I got Inspire scholarship from the government because of the physics background. So I mentioned that, but yes, don't mention your Gmat score, the GRE score, the CAT score. These are not to be mentioned. They are complete no's, because they tell the person who is seeing, or the recruiter, or be it the hiring manager, be it the interviewer, they tell that you were somewhere thinking about going for higher studies. So nowhere that impression should come. So GRE, GMAT is a big, big no. Even if you've got full marks, don't mention it at all. And don't even tell about anything like that in your interviews, because that would, even if you are technically really sound, that would make things really negative for you, because a company does not want to hire a person who is looking for a job right now, but would just leave in a few months or so, or for just keeping it as a backup. He's trying to join in a company, but he definitely has aspirations for future, for some studies. So those scores are definitely not needed and shouldn't be at all written there. J mains, advanced, all these are definitely good.
yes, something we have done in the past is, okay, like JEE means, or if you clear JEE means you have actually done engineering, right? So it's okay, you're getting a job because of your degree. But future degrees would be like, okay, so you're gonna leave us anytime you get the scorecard. So yes.
Yeah, those ELTS and all those things are definitely not needed. So please don't mention them.
Okay, right. So I am trying to share my screen. Is it visible, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so I have already signed in. I have mentioned the link, job portal of Cantilever in the comment section. I'll do it again. So I have logged in. You can see that's my name. So I have also enrolled at Cantilever. I can also use the free courses, right? So as soon as you actually sign up, click on Classroom and you can see the free quiz here. Okay, courses here. I'll show you. Okay. So yeah, you can see all the upcoming events here on the left hand side, right? Let me know if you can see it. And so we have all the courses here, okay? Overview. This is just the overview, like aptitude. We have programming and DSA. We have aptitude and everything, okay? Scheduled with subject wise, which are scheduled subject wise, okay? And we have some videos for interview preparation, resume preparation, master LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is also trendy. It is important to have a nice LinkedIn profile, like Sazia had actually included her LinkedIn, mentioned her LinkedIn profile, so it's important. So we have some mock interview consulting, mock interview finance. I think that should actually help you. So yes, you have it by subject wise as well. So if you don't feel like studying like that, you can take just a topic like an array, it's 2 number sum, then tournament winner, graph, then linked list. This is how it works. And we also have daily quizzes to kind of practice whatever you have learned, to see how much. As once she told that she did not have an exam for some course, so she wasn't able to know if she was good at it or not. So yes, quiz and exams are actually important, even though we don't like it. Yeah. So this is all. So I'll paste the link again on the description box. So just let us know. Okay. If you have any issues, please share all your questions now, because we are about to, end the session. Yeah.
Yeah, any quick questions?
Ma'am,
I'll be happy to take.
actually wanted to know, is my resume fit for like analyst or product manager and that software development role, which are common roles of all the companies, service
So
based companies?
yeah, I would say software development, this looks decent. The projects are also on development only, so this looks good for software development. But if you're aiming for data analyst or data science, there should be something on those as well. So something on data analysis, that you analyzed something, since I guess you have time. You're in your third year, right?
I mean, final year, ma'am.
Okay. So in case you could probably take up a data set or take up a small project and do on maybe on data analysis or data science. Data analysis could be simple. Take a government data, explore it, data visualizations, different models, linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, do everything, do hypothesis testing, and then put it as a project. And it won't take more than 4 or 5 days to complete that. So that would give you an edge where you have a good project. If you're looking for data science, build something, build maybe a recommender model. Take the movie data set and build the content filtering model, recommender model. So that would also do. So these are small things that you could do. And like if you add them in your resume, there are chances that you'll get shortlisted for those data analysis and data science roles. And yes, if
Ma'am,
you are aiming for data analysis and data science, then like adding numpys, pandas, all those things would also be helpful.
okay, thank you. Ma'am, I wanted to know, like, we have to restrict ourselves to only one programming language, or we can have varied programming language and interest. Like
Yes,
if
you
I
can
want to
definitely have.
do
Yes.
machine learning or data mining, like that, because I have so many options and learning opportunities too.
Yes, you could in the software development role resume also, you could add machine learning, you could add data mining, all those courses. I did because I had a minor in data science. So whatever courses I did in data science, I added them in my resume as well. So yes, those would be good for data science roles as well and for software development roles also.
Okay, so I think we had a lot of questions. I think we have already covered all of the questions. I think one question was personally from Cantilever is, what should be the ideal length of a resume?
1 page and not more than that at all.
This was from Cantilevers, I suppose. Yes, that was all questions here. So guys, do fill the form if you want to submit your resume and get it analyzed by one of our top mentors. One was Drishti here today. So yes. So we also have a poll, so you can just quickly fill up the poll, and we'll end the session. I hope you guys don't have any more questions. If so, you can quickly ask in the quick Q&A and or in the chat box, just any question that you have for her. Drishti, how was the session?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed answering the doubts also, and there were quite genuine questions, I felt. So some questions which a third year or fourth year student would be concerned about. And I really enjoyed interacting with you all and sharing some things. And I also enjoyed when you were able to give me the review about the resume. So it's art that you're trying to get used to. When you see a resume, you try to figure out whether it's good or not, or what are the suggestions, what are the improvements that could be done. So you were trying to do that, and that's really good.
Thank you so much. And I hope students also enjoyed the session. Please let us know in the comment section. And also I have someone asking, ma'am, how can I send my resume? I think you can do that through us. If you fill the form, we'll get it to Drishti, and she will definitely get back to you as on our next event. So we'll let you know whenever. So for that, you have to join our Discord channel, or stay tuned on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, all the social media, and also Discord, because Discord is the faster way to get notifications, right? So join us on our Discord channel. Then you'll also have this I think Drishti is also there on our Discord channel, so we can have a discussion around there. Okay,
Definitely.
someone says I have filled the Google form. Definitely we'll get that to Drishti and all the other top mentors we have, and we'll do another event, hopefully. Okay, so let us know, guys, if you enjoyed this session and if you want to see any more of such events in future, and what kind of events would you like to have in future with Drishti and our other top mentors. Someone says interview preparation for MNCs. Okay, so we had a session yesterday actually on a mock interview with technical and non-technical both. And someone says specifically Google. I think everyone wants to get, hired at Google.
Yeah, I think the demand is really high. And actually, Google is aggressively hiring. So good for you all.
Because ma'am is our inspiration. Oh my God, you are an inspiration. Cracking of aptitude exams. For that, just sign up into our to our Cantilever website. We have free courses and we have scheduled, classes to teach you aptitude from scratch. So don't worry about that. We got you. So for aptitude, reasoning, and even DSA. So I think you went through our courses, right, Drishti? What do you think about it?
Yeah, so basically what I had was my college signed up with CantileverLabs, and we had DSA sessions. We had some sessions on aptitude resume building in our college only, where CantileverLabs actually came. At that time there was no COVID, so actually came and we had those sessions, and there were mock interviews as well. So every student in who signed up for interview preparations got a mock interview, and that was a big kind of a placement season, a training and placement season that we had for around 10 days, where there were courses, there were sessions, there were advice sessions, there were mock interviews, everything going on for those 10 days. And after that, we started off with the placement. So that was really helpful, not only for me, but as I was the placement coordinator, I felt that it was helpful for all the other folks as well.
Okay, so we are done with the polls, and we have the polls, and I think I'll share it with you guys as well. So yes, someone is saying, please update the Zoom meeting on Instagram. Actually, we did, we have been regularly posting on Instagram on stories as well on the post. So I only do that. So yes, we do update it every time. Thank you. The session was amazing. Okay, I hope you join our sessions in future as well. Okay. Thank you, Drishti, for coming and giving so much of your valuable time. I know you are busy working at Google. I think everyone wants to get hired in Google. So yes, we will let you know updated about all the coming events. For that, please, stay on our Instagram, all our social media, especially Discord. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for tonight. Bye-bye, Drishti. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for interacting. All the very best.
Yeah. Bye-bye.